He made an error in which he gave away his fortune or something happened?
No, because he'd forgotten his glasses, he wasn't able to sign a document because he couldn't see. So he said, I'll take the document, I'll sign it at home. What might that document have been?
His will, maybe?
His will. Yes. So, there he's got his will. He said, oh, I can't, I'll take it home and sign it at home. He got home.
Died.
Yes.
Oh.
Now, that case, his name was Jennings, and he was very, very rich. And he had quite a lot of family. So there was a case called Jennings v. Jennings, or as a lawyer would say, Jennings and Jennings. And it started in 1798 when he died, and it ended in 1915.
Wow. Wow.
Why did it end?
The jury all died.
No.
Well, the Jennings died.
No.
Oh, they found his glasses.
Because... He died for the same reason that the fictional version of this case that Charles Dickens made famous in his novel Bleak House, Jarndyce versus Jarndyce, which he based exactly on this story, for the same reason. The estate ran out of money. The lawyers had used up every penny of the estate. Doesn't that tell you everything you need to know? And Bleak House, of course, which is one of Dickens' absolute masterpieces, has this court case running through it, Jarndyce versus Jarndyce. And it's been going for dozens of years in Chancery. But he wrote that in 1852. And this Jennings case had been going on for 54 years. And Dickens was little to know that it was to carry on going till the First World War. I mean, it's staggering, isn't it? And all because the man forgot to sign his will. These people were so desperate, so rapacious.
We didn't forget that he died.
Well,
Here they are.
there they are. I know.
Must be very good glasses to help you read that book.
Yeah.
Have you done your wills? Have you had that chat? It's actually depressing. Well, you had a lady come round to the house and I sat down with her, and because she's so used to talking about death,
Yeah.
she's sort of like not bothered about it.
Nonchalant.
Yeah, I'd say so. And she sat there and she said, right, so if you die, where do you want, you know, your money and house and all that to go to? I said, well, the wife and the kids and that. She said, and what if you and your wife both die? I said,
Did he on?
I said, well, just, you know, the kids, and then, you know, maybe the kids go with my brother and that. And then she said, and if you and the
whole
wife and the
family's
kids
wiped
are all
out?
wiped out, I said, I'd like to spend some money on some sort of inquest. See what the hell went on? Wiped a family of 5 off the planet.
Mine was a bit more circumspect. They kept finding different words for die. They were, and if you both go...
Perish. We were both gathered to the bosom of Abraham. Well, I suppose that's their job, isn't it, basically? No, I think I better well, I can't remember. You can have my collection of Wagner records.
Thanks.
Make him sign it now.
You'd be very keen for me not to sign it, I suspect. No, he was considered the richest commoner in the land, the richest non-aristocrat. And he lived in Grosvenor Square in a very sumptuous and beautiful house, except he lived in 2 tiny little rooms in the cellar. And he kept the sumptuous rooms because he charged visitors to be shown around them. That's how much of a miser he was.
Only 3 ghosts was have visited him. We'd have sorted that out. Be the biggest turkey in a window.
Exactly right, exactly.
Day.
Tiny Tim, last of all. Anyway, where would you find a precocious toddler, a fertile octogenarian, and a moron in a hurry?
Is that on...
Buckingham Palace.
Oh!
Like Celebrity Big Brother.
Are they calling Lee Evans a moron there? That seems very tough.
He's a precocious toddler, and that...
Oh, I see. Phew! Again, this is in law. A moron in a hurry.
Well, we've all been that.
Yes, we have. These are sort of fictional types of people.
That they use in law.
That they use
language.
in law. The most famous one is the man on the Clapham omnibus.
That's to do with advertising.
I.e. what we would call the man... No, it's not. It's just the man in the street.
Oh, I see.
English common law is based on the idea of the reasonable man. What would a reasonable person think? You know, the man on the Clapham omnibus is not stupid, but he's not a professor of astrophysics. He's not a moron in a hurry. He's just an ordinary, sensible citizen. And that is used as a standard by judges. And a moron in a hurry is used as a standard for another kind of problem in law that might come up. It's in the area of passing off. Do you know what I mean by passing
like
off?
logos or something.
Yeah, so
Like,
expand.
Almost like false advertising. or maybe plagiarism.
That's more like it. As it were, product plagiarism.
Yes.
Suppose I brought out something called Boca-Bola, and it was in a can exactly like, with the same lettering and the same patterning.
So would
that
the
would be
moron in a
against the
hurry
law. A moron in a hurry probably... Would he notice that? If it was green, not red, he would notice. Even a moron in a hurry would notice. That would not count as passing off. Right. But if it was very similar... and he thought, oh, I'm buying a can of Coke, that's passing off, you know, because you don't have to look very hard. You can just quickly see it seems to be the same thing.
Right.
So that's just used as a sort of type.
Got to be careful there, because you've also got people who are not very observant.
Well, there is that.
You know, I mean, that's me.
Are you not an observant person?
Well, yes. When I was in the army, there was an observation trail we had to do, and you had to walk through the bush, and they put all these things that you had to go through and have a look, and then when you come out the other end of the bush, the sergeant would ask you, okay, what sort of things did you see? And I told him I saw 3 things, including the cone, which marked the exit. So there was really just 2 things I saw. And there was 17 things in the bush. And one of those was a tank. But, you know, my excuse was a lot of it was camouflaged.
Yeah! That's good.
But I'm not a moron in a hurry.
No.
Because I took a long
You're
time.
A simple moron.
3 times the length of time.
A casual moron,
Yeah.
yes.
So you'd be a fertile octogenarian then, in that.
Yes. Well, the fertile octogenarian is a fictitious character who presumes that anyone, even an octogenarian, can parent a child. So they're these kind of archetypes. And
What's the kid? Why is she in a mood?
precocious toddler. Like a fertile octogenarian at the other end of the scale.
Oh, OK.
To be fair, she's not a toddler. She's a bit older than that.
She is. She looks jolly cross, doesn't she? Jolly cross. Anyway, not in the realm of fiction and certainly not legal. Can you explain this? 2 people claim to have had sex on the moon. Who are they? How did they do it?
Well, they're clearly under the moon.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes, they are rather, aren't they?
We could run it, so it's not Armstrong and Aldrin.
Well, no, not. So it's not the astronauts.
So there's no one that's actually been there.
Not on the moon itself. But are there any bits of the
rock.
moon on Earth?
Yeah, moon rock.
Yes. In the spring of 2002, an intern at NASA at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, 3 interns, stole the whole safe full of rock samples there. The ringleader, Thad Roberts, and his accomplice, with the wonderful name of Tiffany Fowler, apparently spread the rocks on a bed and did it on the rocks.
That doesn't sound... It's horrible.
They got the rocks off on the rocks. I don't know how you explain it. It does sound uncomfortable.
It does sound
But
terrible.
it's certainly unique. I don't suppose any other couple on Earth can claim to have shagged on the moon, or at least on bits of the moon.
I think I own a bit of the moon.
You own a bit of the moon?
Yeah, someone got it me once for my birthday.
Oh, it's like having a star name.
I don't know how
That's
legitimate
nice.
it is. I'm just waiting for Branson to sort it out.
Yes.
Then I'll get up there and have a little look.
You'll probably know more about this than I do, but Virgin Galactic is not the only company that's seeking to offer at least a journey out of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But it'll be quite a short time out of the atmosphere. Won't
Yeah, you're up there for a few minutes.
It'll cost a lot, but
Yeah.
would you consider doing it?
I would.
You'd love to see it.
undoubtedly.
Yeah.
It's more of
There
a
is
thrill ride, isn't it? About 2.5 minutes, and then you're coming down.
Like the vomit comet, which is
I-
the way
I
you
did
plunge.
that.
Have you done that
Which
with the
was
mine? Oh, yes,
great
you did on
fun.
your show.
Yeah.
So you did, yes, absolutely.
And that's remarkable.
I have to say, I watched it and I admired you did very well. But I was really admiring the cameraman.
Spinning around.
Yeah, managing to keep you in shot.
Yeah,
which
that's
can't have been easy.
But there will be bits of the moon other than the bits that were brought back on the surface of the Earth. There's quite a lot of moon and Mars, because you get meteorites that enter the Earth's atmosphere. And it may be apocryphal, but the story of a piece of Mars hitting a dog in Egypt and
Really?
killing the dog. Yeah, what are the chances of the unlucky dog? But it's one of the Martian meteorites, one of the famous Martian
And
meteorites.
it presumably ended his life.
Yes.
Coming in at quite a speed, quite a
Go,
lick.
bonk.
He caught it.
There's also a story of a woman whose leg was broken by a meteorite. He was in bed, and one came through her roof and broke her leg.
Brian, is the moon the same all the way through, or is the surface different from the rest of it?
It's not got an iron core, because it's thought to have been blasted off the edge of the Earth by a collision early on in the formation of the solar system.
Did they go down very far, the Apollo astronauts, when they were collecting samples?
No, they just scooped it off the
Into a
surface.
sack and off they went.
Yeah.
That's some of the evidence that tells you that the moon was blasted off the Earth at some point in the past, because the composition of the rock is very similar.
Anyway, I should point out that this story that Thad Roberts tells of shagging on the moon, not everybody believes him. Some people think he's just a big old show-off, and it's not true. But he certainly claims it, and so who knows. And finally, why would I encourage a psychopath to eyeball my crotch?
Look at that picture.
Wow. This is one of those that I don't think we want to know the real answer.
No.
Nice idea.
Would it release the tension?
Well, I'm afraid we're back in the weird world of the 1960s, and we're in the world of theoretical psychiatry. And it won't surprise you to learn that it was in California there was a psychologist called Paul Bindrim who pioneered nude psychotherapy in 1967 at a nudist resort, and he devised discomforting exercises, one of which was called crotch eyeballing, in which participants were instructed to look at each other's genitals and disclose the sexual experiences they felt most guilty about, while lying naked in a circle with their legs in the air. I'm afraid there was a doctor at Oak Ridge Hospital for the Criminally Insane, a Canadian psychiatrist called Elliot Barker, who did a marathon nude psychotherapy session for criminal psychopaths. These raw, naked, LSD-fueled sessions lasted 11 days. Wow. 11 days, you give a psychopath LSD, take their clothes off, and...
But you see, I believe in evidence-based medicine, so if that can be shown to work, it should be available on the NHS.
I agree.
It doesn't matter.
You're right.
How ridiculous
You're so
it
right.
is.
I, too, am an empiricist like you. You'll be pleased to know that the average rate of recidivism amongst psychopaths is 60%. Amongst those who did that programme, it was 80%.
There we are. Therefore,
we think it's a bad idea. Recidivism.
Oh, I see.
Recidivism is when you do it the crime again. But why don't we try it? Let's get up. Let's all get up and show each other our genitals. Come on. Come on. There's a lot of people getting cameras out. There is social networking.
He's got a very long telephoto lens as well. It's insulting.
You won't see mine from there. You'll have to come
Maybe the audience can take their clothes off as well. You feel good about that?
Yeah, I feel more comfortable.
OK. I hope the BBC lets us show this moment. So, 1, 2, 3...
Oh, dear, we seem to have a technical problem. We're working to fix that as soon as we can. And good, it's fixed now, so let's get straight back to QI. Hopefully we haven't missed anything quite interesting.
That was very good. That went well. I thought that was very, very good. That was interesting. Very interesting. I can see why they call you Brian Cox now.
Yes. And a blue one is
Yeah,
so
no,
weird.
all right. Anyway, we've learnt a lot about each other and about the audience. Thank you for participating as well, audience. Very kind. It was very interesting. It was very revealing. And talking of revealing, there is something, after all, to be said for crotch eyeballing. There's a lot more to be said for score eyeballing. And my goodness me, do we have some scores for you today. It's hard to believe that a man of such intellect should be in last place, but I'm sorry to say, on -7, it's Brian Cox. And on -2, Jason Manford. Oh dear. In second place, with a magnificent plus score of 3, is Rhys Darby.
Oh, well,
And can we believe it, ladies and gentlemen, with a towering 5 inches, a towering 5 points, Alan Davies. It only remains for me to thank Rhys, Jason, Brian and Alan, and may God have mercy on your souls. Good night.